Alright everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In The Mixer as we continue our Hashtag United series in FM19. We're getting through the last few episodes, getting through this final season, working towards the release of FM20. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on in and around the community, but I really want to give Hashtag United as good a send-off as we possibly can. And it has been an excellent season. This isn't a complaint, I'm not super worried, anything like that. We're currently sitting in third spot, but if we went back just a week in football terms, and they do say a week is a long time in football, we were doing much better. We've lost 3 of our last 3 games, and I had to kind of switch off and be like, no, we're going to step away for a little bit, we're going to have a think about what's going on and work our way from there. And sometimes it's just as simple as walking away and then coming back to it, and your form can turn around a little bit. So we'll go all the way back to the last episode where we played Barcelona in that famous 3-1 victory at home and the 2-1 win against Wolves in the league. And then we've done pretty well since then. We've won on penalties against Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup. It was a decent enough performance. We rotated quite a bit. Most of our reserves and stuff played in this match. We beat Reading 5-1. We beat Spartak Moscow away 5-2 in an excellent performance. We lost 4-2 to Tottenham. We'll go through Tottenham a little bit more in a moment. Watford we beat 3-0. Porto we beat 3-2 in an excellent performance. Leicester with 10 men for 45 minutes. We had a 92nd minute winner by Kenneth Van Dam, who's proven to be a phenomenal little player. Again, our reserve side went out and played in the Carabao Cup. We had another man sent off early and we still won 6-3 against Chelsea of all teams. The same Chelsea that we struggled with on the first day of the season in that 2-2 draw, so very good performance there. We beat Southampton 2-1 in a convincing performance. Beat Porto 2-1. Beat Liverpool 3-2 in an absolute game of the season candidate. Like, we both exchanged leads. And then found a late winner again through Kenneth Van Dam, who has been excellent for us this year. And then it all came crashing down. Manchester United away from home. Old Trafford is a tough place to go, and don't get me wrong, even though Manchester United aren't quite at the top of the division this season, they are still very good. Didn't start well for us, Kanovic with an own goal, and eventually we lost 4-1 across the tie. Then again, we had a guy sent off, which is a long-running theme that you will have noticed in a lot of these episodes, and we lost 4-1 again away at the new camp in Barcelona, and then we lost 3-1 to Arsenal. Again, Paul Howe getting sent off. So we've definitely got some discipline issues, and some of it's to do with, I think, the way that we're playing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to, out of possession, step our line up just a tiny little bit higher, so that hopefully we aren't having to make as rash challenges or anything like that. That's the way that I'm going to try and resolve it for this episode, make that tiny little change. But it does mean that we need to kind of put in a good run of form. We will play in this episode Swansea, who are 17th. I would expect us to beat them considering we are playing at home, and Spartak Moscow is our final Champions League game in the group. We have already qualified out of the group stages. We're currently in second. We're playing the team at the bottom that hasn't won anything yet. If we can beat them convincingly enough, I think we can leapfrog, which we've been doing a lot of lately, Barcelona, and get up to the top spot in our group and get a good seeding for the knockout rounds. Having said that, there's some very good teams that are in second spot. Man City, AC Milan, Manchester United, who just beat us, Monaco, Atletico Madrid, Juventus. Like, there's some massive teams that are sitting second in their group. So it's not going to matter a tremendous amount where we actually finish, first or second. We're going to play a good team regardless of what happens. As far as the league's concerned, we want to continue to keep up with Tottenham, who have been pretty much perfect. Like, 14 games played, they've had 1 draw and 1 loss to Chelsea. They walloped us in that time. They beat Manchester United. They've beaten Liverpool. Like, they're beating everyone pretty convincingly. We're already 6 points behind them 14 games into the season. I know they will drop points eventually, but really, if we could get those 2 losses back, or even just pick up like 1 extra point in that period, we'd be so much closer and so much easier a task in terms of chasing them, because they are just relentless at this point. But we're still in the FA Cup, we're still in the Carabao Cup, there's still a lot going on, we're competing on all fronts and we're doing quite well, so I'm not going to complain too much. But enough from me, let's jump forward to the game against Swansea now. Alright, and this is the lineup that we're going to go with, our hashtag 442 shape. We're going to continue with it for the rest of the season. Lukungu in goal, Berger and Rapp as the wing-backs, Kupic and Bradbrook as the central defensive partnership, Kanovic and Kwakwa as the central midfield pairing, with Carter on the left wing, in for the suspended Paul Howe, and Navarro on the right. Van Dam will play as the 10, Nen will lead the line up top. Both of them have had excellent seasons. They are playing a 4-2-3-1, which we should do relatively well against. You might remember Errol Gould. Errol Gould scored the first goal against us when we joined the Premier League, when he was playing for Leicester. So, a bit of a throwback name there. They've got a couple of other decent players. Lelivre here looks like a very talented left-wing option. So they have got a little bit about them. And we'll have to be at our best to get past them. N Wood, who I think is an ex-Cardiff? Brentford or Middlesbrough, looks like. defender, the only real player that's still in that squad at 31 years of age. Swansea have yo-yoed between the Championship and the Premier Division for the last few seasons, so hopefully we can kind of turn it around a little bit, get a good performance, get a good result, and get back into a decent run of form. Prior to losing those 5 fixtures, I think we'd won about 7 in a row. Did I say 5 fixtures? Prior to losing those 3 fixtures, we'd won about 7 in a row, and I'd love to see a similar run. We've got a highlight here. It's with Navarro, who's burst into the box and gets the strike away, the 5th goal of the season for the Colombian winger. Here's a giant. We're going to check this one out in 3 dimensions and watch him tower over the opposition. Just a physical beast. So ball in from Kwakwa. Just finds Navarro. He just takes a touch around his man. Always power, pace into the box and smacks that one on his not favoured left foot into the far corner, and keeper couldn't do too much about it. So it's a good performance. It does see us move up into 3rd spot, but keep in mind Liverpool and Tottenham are not playing today. Carter, short corner now to Navarro, the goal scorer. Deep one across. Coopage is in the area. Finds Van Dam, who brings it down very well and just screws the shot just wide of the far post. Lovely touch from the teenager. Kwakwa now with a free kick on the edge of the box. He shoots when maybe it would have been a better crossing position or for a left-footed player to take the shot. First highlight for Swansea now. Forward to Duggan, to Gerde, into Laliva, tries a reverse pass, wrap with a good tackle. Lukungu comes out and claims. We're going to see any further here. Got a 2v1 on the left if we work the ball out that way. They've gone to Arkanovic short in the middle instead. Now back to Kupic, to Arkanovic. Comes forward. Plays inside to Van Dam now. Cross ball to Navarro, the goal scorer. He gets a strike away and it's just past the far post, but well worked. Found feet. Placed the ball in space. Kwakwa with a free kick now. It's an excellent free kick for his first goal of the season. And the young 19-year-old English midfielder that we paid £40 million for a couple of years back is now a mainstay of our team. And it couldn't be long before he gets an England call up alongside the likes of Bradbrook. Excellent free kick there. Wraps it around the wall. Keeper had no chance. 30 minutes gone. We're going to use our demand more shout. A couple of players seem motivated by it, which is good. We've had a lot of pressure lately. Corner routine. Carter should take the corner. Deep one across towards Akanovic, who gets his header in. It falls to Kupic for his 2nd goal of the season. Shreko Kupic went probably like 2 years, I think, before he actually scored for us when we initially picked him up. And he's scored twice already this season, which is a phenomenal turnaround for him. It's a good ball in from Carter. It's a good header from Akanovic. Pinballs around a bit, and Kupic is the first man there. On his not favoured right foot, pokes that one home for a 3-0 lead going into half-time. Right, so at half-time, we're 3-0 to the good at One Cast Navarro with Kwakwa and Kupic with the goals. 18 shots, 7 on target, 58% of the ball. They've had 3, 2 and 42%. No real need for me to change anything other than to say calmly, very happy with the way things are going. And everyone's responded positively to that. We're going to give it 15 minutes, as we usually do, before we look at any subs, and we'll just go on form and fitness. Though Jeremy Berger does have a yellow card, which you have to be wary of. We did note we've had a lot of red cards lately, so we need to be a bit better in managing our yellows and players that are on them. So highlight here, it's kind of pinballing around at the back. We've gone all the way back to Gardner-Smith in goal. Nen was in the area. Navarro wins a free header, but it's cut out well by command. Kwakwa nearly wins it back in midfield, but it falls to Duggan. Forward to Laliva, into Latham. Ball over to Errol, and it's a good finish from Errol Gould. 2nd goal of the season for him, and he does like playing against us. We did mention in the build-up to this one that he did score the first goal that we conceded in the Premier League, and he's done it again today. It's not a bad little side-to-side ball forward, just a pop over the top from Latham. And it looked like Berger was kind of snoozing a little bit. Maybe Lukungu could have done a little bit better, but still a decent finish, putting it low and hard across the goalkeeper. Corner routine here, Navarro to take the short one to Carter. Deep ball across towards Akanovic again. It falls to Kwakwa, back to Carter, to Van Dam at the front post, and he gets his 11th goal of the season. Excellent finish from him. And very smart play from Kwakwa there. You would have thought maybe that ball rolling out to him, he might have been tempted to just crack it back in. But instead, picks an excellent pass to Carter, who cuts it back front post, and Van Dam makes a good little run and finishes first time at the near post. Restores our 3-goal advantage, and really we need to try and catch up with Tottenham's goal difference at the moment. We are the highest scoring team in the division, but I think we have like the 13th or 14th best defensive record. Obviously take out the last 2 games when we conceded 7 goals, and we'd be a lot further up the table in that respect, but it is something that we do need to continue to try and improve. Bit of pinball there. Ball's fallen to Navarro, who comes forward. Inside to Nen. It's a lovely touch around the man, and that's his 15th goal of the season. He's been excellent, considering, what are we now? The start of December? Start of November? I can't remember what month it is, but 15 goals at this point in the season is absolutely excellent. Lovely way to pass from Navarro. It's that touch around the defender that does so well, and he just has to pass that one in at near post. The keeper didn't really have a chance. Yeah, we're going to make 2 subs. We're going to bring on Stephen Clark as the wing back, just in case of Berger's yellow card. And we're going to bring on Gary James for Ivanovic, just because he's been out with injury for quite a while. We might as well try and get him some time. They've taken a free kick and hit the crossbar while I was explaining that sub. It was a good effort, but I think maybe Lukungu had it covered, even if it had been on target. We managed to scramble it away anyway. 10 minutes remaining, we're going to use our demand more shout, but realistically, I'd be happy with a 5-1 win. If you had offered it to me before the start of the game to turn our form around a little bit, I'd be happy. But we haven't had a clean sheet in a while, which is to be noticed. Also, I don't think we've had a game in the 14 or 15 so far this season where we haven't scored. Even when we lost, we scored in those games. So at least things are looking good going forward. And there we go, we're through injury time, the ref calls full time. In the end, 5-1 winners, 22 shots, 9 on target, 56% of the ball. They had 12-4 and 44%. Passionately, let's say, very happy with the result and the way you played. Everyone's responded positively. Morale is still pretty good considering the week that we've had. And it does mean that we get to jump forward a little bit and finish our first ever Champions League group stage with the chance to top our group. 5-star hashtag United Triumph. Ahmed Kwakwa, 9.1 match rating, gets the Man of the Match award. He was excellent and closed it out with an excellent free kick. Press conference, very pleased with the result. Mikel Arteta is the Swansea manager. He has been for quite a while. Nen's on his way to a goal bonus for 15 league goals, which is 400k. He deserves it. He has signed a new contract as well, Nen. He had like a £40 million release clause. He's now got a £100 million release clause. And I should probably have mentioned at the start, we have signed some players as well. Mainly because we got given a whole bunch of extra cash for the transfer budget. Only one of them's likely to actually come this window, this next January window. Serge Digbu, his release clause is 600k. He's worth 7.25 million playing for Grêmio in Brazil. Ivorian central defender, wonder kid status. We're going to bring him in and hopefully give him some game time as well. Likely the last signing that we make. And then I've also signed a couple of really young juniors that were available. What I like to think of, we're not going to play beyond this season because FM20 will be out, but what I like to do sometimes is set up the club to have the next generation of wonder kid talent coming through. So Aaron Lamellis, we picked up from Real Madrid B, 16-year-old, for next to no money. One Manuel Zabalza, 16-year-old from Atletico Madrid B, Bakundi Mendes, 16-year-old from Sporting Lisbon, Estrade from a French international from KRC Ghent. So there's some players that are going to continue to come to the club after the game has finished once they turn 18, just because it's something fun to do. Kwakwa is on form for hashtag United. He was excellent, so let's tell him how good his performance was. And now through the magic of editing, let's jump forward to the game against Spartak Moscow. Just like that, we're a couple of days ahead for this home match to finish off the Champions League season. Not the Champions League season, the Champions League group stage. We've made a couple of changes. Boremans is going to come in for Kupic, who needs a little bit of a rest, and Clark will come in for Berger, who is currently suspended with his yellow card ban. And last but not least, Paul Howe will come back in, returning from suspension. I think he's got another 2 games to serve in the Premier League, so we might as well get use out of him in the Champions League. And we should win this one fairly comfortably. Everyone's responded positively. Let's also boost the defence because we've got a couple of guys who haven't played much football playing back there today. And hopefully we can just get the win. And if we get a couple of goals along with it, that would be fantastic as well. Vasilev with a deep free kick forward. It's a good header. Lukungu does well and doesn't come out to the follow-up. So Konstantin Nosov gets his first goal of the season. And we're a little bit behind it here. I don't think there's any risk. We're qualified. That's fine. It's just really where we finish, first or second in the group. Vasilev with a good ball forward. And Lukungu does well, but then doesn't make it out quick enough to the rebound. And really none of the defenders help him either, but Nosov just smacks that one home from about 5 yards. And we've not started strongly, so we'll see if we've got any sort of response here from the team. Rapp now with the throw-in towards Nen, who brings it down expertly, looks for Van Dam in the hole. Excellent first touch by him, and Zvila does very well to come out and block that one away. And they've recovered possession. Nosov, the goal scorer, won it back. 30 minutes gone, we're going to use our Get Creative shout, mix it up a little bit. A few of us been inspired by that. Van Dam has a yellow card, which we will have to keep an eye on as the game wears on. Got a throw in here, Clark to take to Boremans. Back to Lukungu. Long ball forward towards Howe, who does well to flick it on towards Van Dam. Skips past one. He's got 2 lining up in the middle. Clears it across to Navarro at the top of the box. It's an excellent strike, and Laptev, the defender, can only push it away. It hit the base of the post, and then just kind of agonisingly scuttled across the 6-yard box before they poked it away. Howe now with the corner towards Van Dam, but his header is just wide of the goal for a goal kick. So at least we've responded, and definitely statistically we're on top, but we need that goal to draw level. Clark with the throw-in now to Ivanovic. Deep one across towards Kwakwa at the top of the box, over to Rapp. Makes his movement towards the box, but his shot is closed down. We go all the way back to Borremans in defence, forward to Clark, into Howe now, cross ball to Van Dam, gets his strike away, it's going to fall to Howe, the rebound 2 times. First strike the keeper did very, very well with, and then he couldn't get up in time to stop the second rebound. Howe puts that one back in and gets us back onto level terms. It's well worked here. Howe just little ball inside to Van Dam, and he strikes from distance. Good save from Sviller. Howe again with a great save from Sviller, but he can't do anything about the third one. The defence didn't really help him out all that much, and we might get back into half time on level pegging and hopefully can put our foot down a little bit in the second half. Passionately going to say, we've been the better team, keep doing what you have been and we'll be fine. And I'm going to tell everyone that they can make the difference, and hopefully that will boost them onto some better performances. Right, it's unclear. We'll have a look at the games around the grounds. It might be that Porto are beating Barcelona as things stand. Great ball to Howe. Excellent strike again for him. Sviller did very well to save it, but Howe with the rebound puts us 2-1 up. So we're back in front, and we're back on top of the group. Not that it matters a tremendous amount, but we will have a look at the other results once we get back to the main menu. Lovely crossfield switch from Navarro, by the way. An excellent finish from Howe. Svilla's done very, very well. No one's helping him out. I feel bad for the dude. It looks as though Porto are currently 1-0 up through Barcelona for Alegre, who was an ex-River Plate striker that we looked at a bunch of times and then just never really did anything with. 60 minutes gone now. We've got a highlight here. Laptev with the ball into Kochakov, to Davidowski, to Perez, to Gusev, inside to Ryabka. It's a good strike. Probably butchered half those pronunciations, but I said them with confidence, so you guys won't notice. Tactics, let's make our 2 subs. Howe will come off for Carter just because of the yellow card. And same with Van Dam. He'll come off for Sosa just because of that yellow. We'll hold on to the 3rd sub for the last 10 minutes or so. And hopefully they can kind of give us a bit of fresh legs up top and out wide and continue to create a little bit. Andreev with a deep free kick. Borremans heads it away. Falls to the substitute Carter, who looks up the line to the other sub, Sosa. He's got men on the far side if he can find him. He looks towards Navarro now, brings it down expertly, and that is a fantastic finish from Juan Carlos Navarro. He's in excellent form. He has been in this episode, and he has been for a couple of weeks. Even when the team was struggling, he's been playing quite well. And that's why the £122 million man, 80 Holden, hasn't really been playing that much, because Navarro has been excellent. Nen went down injured, which is a bit of a concern. He just sits down at the top of the box. We still score, but he's holding his leg. Might have been a hamstring or something like that. Potential lower leg injury. Looks like a calf strain. Who can we throw on up top? We haven't really got one. Let's just, for the sake of it, put 80 Holden up top. We won't try and exacerbate that injury any further. Hopefully Nen's going to be okay because he's been so good for us this season. And we're just going to demand more for the last 10 minutes. Try and get a bit of focus. I'll take a 3-1 win, especially if Barcelona are losing in their match. Deep ball, free kick away. It hits the deck and Lukungu does well that time to come out and claim. Borremans now. Long ball forward towards Sosa. We've got the break on here. Crossfield switches on again. Navarro and Holden in the area. Holden with the finish. His 4th goal of the season. An excellent assist from Sosa, who's done very, very well since he came off the bench, setting up 2 goals late on. It's an excellent run here from Sosa, and he does so well to get into space and then get his head up. It just hangs that ball back stick again. Holden with an excellent acrobatic finish. Maybe could have let it come across onto his right foot, which is his favoured one, but instead tries the kung fu kick with his left. 4 minutes to be added on. Is there going to be any late drama here? There's 2 minutes remaining of extra time. We've got to throw in very deep in our own half. Clark comes forward, looks at the long ball over the top towards Holden. It's flicked on, but Sviller does well to come out and claim. They've got a fair few men forward. They've got a very tight 5 at the front there. Long ball forward. Rapp should win the header unchallenged. Only as far as Malia. Ivanovic recovers quite well. Goes back to Lukungu, who clears it long. Holden's in the area, but doesn't challenge. Back to Ivanovic, forward to Sosa. Out wide now to Carter. Steps inside, looks for Holden over the shoulder. Good strike. Did very well. Good technique over the shoulder of the defender. It's another highlight here immediately. It looks like we're going to have a corner. No, it's a goal kick. And with 45 seconds remaining, this might be the last that we see of the match. Spiller with a long one forward. Ivanovic tries to challenge, but it's just outnumbered in the middle. They're committing quite a few forward. Quackwell with a dangerous looking tackle from behind. Nosov with a crossfield switch. And it goes out for a goal kick at the other end. I'm not sure why I've seen this entire thing, but dare I say it. And there we go. Before I've even finished the sentence, the referee calls full time. 31 shots, 12 on target, 62% possession, 3-2 and 38 for Spartak. Still didn't keep a clean sheet, but passionately, let's say, well done, lads. A good win for us. And then I think the last portion that we want to do is go and have a look at the draw for the knockout stages. Porto won 2-0 in the end against Barcelona, so Barca do struggle when they're travelling. Nen's picked up an injury. He's going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks, which is disappointing. Don't worry about your injury, and he seems to have responded positively, which is good. Press conference, fantastic effort. I took off Paul Howe when he was on a hat-trick, but that's fine. Made my halftime talk a lot easier. Doesn't look too bad. Hopefully the team can rally. And we get 2.242 million for winning that one. Navarro was excellent, so let's tell him superb in that build. And it's another 24 hours before the rest of the Champions League games are played, so we're just going to jump forward a little bit and hopefully get to catch the draw for the knockout stages. Because I'm an idiot, I accidentally went past the draw, but we've pulled out Monaco. We're going to play the first part of the knockout round away from home and then have the return fixture at our home ground later on in the season. There are some very big ties there. Juve playing PSG is a massive one. Tottenham Bayern Munich is a massive one. They both won the competition in the last 5 years. Barcelona Arsenal will be massive. AC Milan, Atletico, Manchester City, Napoli. There's some very, very big ties there. All of the English sides got through their groups, and the 5 teams representing England is the most of any nation that remains in the competition. Spain have 4. So very much a case of the bigger sides getting through in the Champions League this season. Those games are going to... I forgot to mention, we had a 1-1 draw with West Ham in between the draw actually taking place and the last game. Very disappointing. Gave away a penalty in the 44th minute. It's very disappointing because Liverpool have jumped back ahead of us into second spot, and Tottenham actually drew their game against Arsenal 3-3, so it would have been a great chance to try and get 2 points back, but unfortunately it hasn't worked out that way. Looking forward at the schedule, I think we might come back for that first leg of the Champions League against Monaco, which means we'll play a good chunk of games, including our quarter-final against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup and our FA Cup third-round game against Burnley. But then that'll give us an opportunity to maybe even do something special and do both legs of that knockout games against Monaco. It'll be a pain in the ass for me to edit, but that's absolutely fine. But we might come back and do that game and then also the other side of it. And we'll make the story of this season kind of our European journey to finish off the final year. If you're in support of that, let me know in the comment section below. If you hate it and think it's the dumbest idea ever, also just let me know in the comment section below. I'll change stuff. I'll do things differently. Because like it's always been, you guys will drive what you want to see on the channel. Having said that, if you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to put a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future videos as they're released, or you can follow in the _FM on Twitter to be kept up to date to all our interactions with the FM community. Anytime I burp, anything like that, you'll get to see that sort of stuff on there as well. But as always, I've been Sean, this has been In The Mixer, and don't you ever forget to hashtag it.